Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Jai Jagannath, Swami Jai Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Supada, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Supada, Go Nitai Jaya, Go Nitai, Go Nitai Jaya, Go Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Go, Premanandi. I'm going to have to put this under. I have to sit on this because I have to raise my back up. Chest is a pain. This one's good. This one, no, those are good. You just have to put this one underneath me.
What is the thing that's more comfortable?
I don't know. Let's see how it works. Put it a little bit further around. It's not quite in there. Not quite there, but what? There we go. That's it. That may help the breathing.
Good?
Well, I wouldn't say it's good because the whole cushion is too soft. The whole cushion's too soft. No, this one's too soft. It's
That
making
really
it
helps.
difficult.
If you try that, that's really.
What am I supposed to do with it?
Just sit on that.
It's very high.
If you take the cushion out, it would. We tried it before and it really works. But
I
try
have
it.
to
It's
see.
okay.
You can try if you want. It's just this one here is very
that
soft.
makes it a bit harder. I think if you put down.
It's like my diaphragm's falling into the cushion. I don't know if I can get up there.
Are you doing that? Be high, but it's comfortable.
And take that one out and push that one
Put those in
back.
behind, yeah.
Maybe it can go back. There's not enough room for my legs now. That's it. We'll give that a go. You may be right. Water. Water. Is that not flat, is it? I think it's not flat. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for turning off your mobiles. Are you going to film? Can't film like that. You got this thing's right in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. Well, can't you put it over there somewhere? If you want to do it at all. You have Chaitanya Charitamrita here?
We do, yeah. Which one do you need?
Hare Krishna. Beta Kirtan pastimes, Madhya Lila, I don't know what chapter it is. Maybe, I don't know, 15, I don't know. Beta Kirtan. Ratha Yatra pastimes. We're in the Ratha Yatra season. I know your Manchester Ratha Yatra is a bit late this year.
Alright, maybe we can show you.
For what? They're great, but I can't read off those. They're great, I can read off it, but it's not the same. It's great if you have one yourself, you can follow. Any Bengalis, please? This is Tarun Prabhu. Tarun Prabhu is traveling with me. He's from Calcutta side, Bengal. Any other Bengalis here? You're not your body, but still, we say Bengali. The most holy birth, to take birth in Bengal, greatest opportunity you can have. Sometimes we have a saying, I was born on a railway line. The railway line was about as far away as the window to my back door. Yeah, main line, railway line, Swindon. Big railway works. We lived,
Which text?
we grew up in the railway, on railways, basically. They have a saying, those who live next to the railway line always miss the train. Because you think you come at the last moment, and you miss it. There's a saying. And sometimes we're born in a very glorious opportunity, and then we kind of don't have the right attitude to appreciate how fortunate we are. Attitude is the secret in spiritual life. It's not what we know, it's not what we do. And that's also, of course, a part, but it's not the main part. The attitude is the main part. Srila Prabhupada writes in the Nectar of Instruction, the preface, that in all activities it's the attitude which really is the most important factor. The attitude of a devotee. Not whether we're old, young, black, white, Indian, Bengali, Hindi, Christian or atheist or whatever our background may be, man, woman, but rather our attitude towards Krishna, towards Krishna's. Everything belongs to, it's towards everything. When we say attitude towards Krishna, it means attitude towards everything. You can't have a good attitude towards Krishna and an unfavorable attitude towards his energy. Prabhupada always used the example that, you please the man by pleasing the dog. Huh? You can't say, I like the man, but I hate the dog. And you see the man, you kick the dog up in the air. I really like you, most Prabhus, what we call Prabhus. Prabhvis, I don't know what the latest term is for the ladies. What's the latest term? Is it Prabhus, Prabhvis, Matajis, ladies, Vaishnavis, something or another. Whatever it is. I like you very much, but your dog, boom, give it a good kick over the wall. Will not go down very well. Everything belongs to Krishna, even material energy, even conditioned souls who are in the mode of ignorance and are behaving in ways which may horrify other conditioned souls. Cruelty, or whatever we describe it as from the relative perspective, are Krishna's parts and parcels. They're simply acting according to their desire as well, mainly. But they're in ignorance, illusion, and actual devotee's attitude towards them is compassion. It's not hatred, not repulsion. It may be a little distance for practical reasons, but in the heart of hearts they're moved towards everyone, even their Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj say we should have nothing but the highest, good wishes for our worst enemy. Every member of this Gaudiya Math, he said, should be willing to shed 200 gallons of blood for the spiritual corpus of every conditioned soul. Good or bad, by relative perspective. So this, back to the subject which we want to touch upon a little bit, I guess. Well, it kind of opened here. I don't know if this is exactly where I was thinking of, but anyway, it's good enough. We'll whip it up from there. This is pretty nice verses. So this is from the pastimes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. How many of you have read the Chaitanya Charitamrita? A handful of fortunate souls. And I guess that means no one else has read it. Or maybe you've read a little bit. You, Deva Rishi, you've never read it?
I've read part of it. Yeah.
Part of it, yeah. We've read a part of it. And Dayananda Maharaj, I'm sure you've read it many times. Is that right? It's, of course, as Prabhupada described it, it's a postgraduate study. You know, you get a degree in, I don't know, master's or something, a postgraduate, I don't know what the terminology they have. These different things. So it's postgraduate, it's definitely but it's amazing how Prabhupada was speaking on Chaitanya Charitamrita in 1966 in New York. There were no books published. Only a small preaching center. Prabhupada's lecturing on Chaitanya Charitamrita. As he's talking about the preliminary part, or you could say the foundation, the aspect of Lord Chaitanya's dealings with Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, philosophy of Krishna consciousness from beginning to end, but the basic foundation of Krishna consciousness. We were discussing last night at the program in Paris. It was all Bengali. Everyone there was Bengali. So they love to hear about Lord Chaitanya and his pastimes. We were particularly because this weekend, what are we on now? Tuesday. Last Sunday in Paris, I think you had Leicester Ratha Yatra, is that right? Last Sunday, some of you may have gone. Did you go, Maharaj? Leicester? The Leicester Ratha Yatra. And almost every year, the Paris Ratha Yatra is on the same day. It's ironic. I mean, it's really strange. It's several years in a row it's been like this, at least. Jagannath's in charge. He knows everything. And we have to keep that in mind, that the Lord's hand is behind everything. Not that, oh, it's this person, that person. They may superficially appear to be the doer and the orchestrator of various events, but ultimately Krishna is the controller and his hand's behind everything. So we don't take it, we probably do take it, to heart in terms of when things go our way, it's great. When they don't go our way, it's terrible. But ultimately, everything's got its root in Krishna. So the Rath Yatra was supposed to have been on Sunday in Paris. On Thursday night, we received from the police, you have to get a permit from the police. I guess the same thing over here. The police issued a permit because last week, I don't know what it was like in Manchester, but the temperature in Paris was 42, 43 degrees centigrade for almost the whole week. Went down to 27 at night. So it was, pretty warm, and people were passing out, For better or for worse, they were passing out. Not because of, too much of you-know-what, but because of the sun. And it was pretty intense for most people. But the weather forecast was on Saturday it would go down a little bit, on Sunday it would go down even more. So they said there's no worries on Sunday, it's going to go down to about 34, so it should be okay. So they granted us the permit on Thursday night. Everything was arranged. Off we went to the market. I didn't go, the other was. Off they went to the market to buy the flowers, won over 1,000 euros of flowers, plus an overnight shipment from Delhi of hundreds and thousands of jasmine flowers directly from Delhi in frozen boxes overnight on the planes for the chariot. And many other arrangements are made. Tens of thousands of flyers have gone out, and posters and social media. Many things have been purchased. Devotees have come, getting everything ready, all the, paraphernalias and what have you. So it was well underway. And Friday morning, everyone was getting excited about the upcoming. I gave class or not, I can't remember. But everything was going on. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning, the chief of police phoned up again to our Rath Yatra organizer and said, I'm really, really sorry to say this, but I've been told that all street festivals are cancelled for the weekend. He said it's not because of the weather's going to be passable, but it's because all the hospitals are overflowing with sick people due to the weather. Well, other reasons obviously, but extra because of the weather. Many people have failed to maintain their health during that period. So they said we've been ordered to cancel or. And that was on Friday, so we had 2 days notice. And it was a bit of a shock at first. But they also had to cancel. There was another festival, Big Street Procession on Saturday, which they also cancelled. Of course, that was the Gay Pride Day. Gay Pride Day. So that was also cancelled. They only had 1 day's notice. That was pretty intense. About 800,000 people attend the Gay Pride procession in Paris. More than the population, well, Greater Manchester's more, but 800,000 thereabouts. It's the biggest festival of the year in France. And Ratha Yatra was small numerically, comparatively speaking, but they were also cancelled, so we were cancelled. So it was a bit of a letdown, and of course we immediately contacted all the devotees we knew who were coming, and social media and websites, what have you, to inform everybody. Obviously many people came, we didn't know they were coming, and they probably didn't go on websites. Even the news announced the cancelling of all festivals for the weekend, but they probably didn't check it out. And many people turned up. No, nothing was there, of course, at the festival site or at the start. But the organizer, discussing with us and others, decided, well, let's do something. We got to glorify Lord Jagannath in his Anavasara period, right? Anavasara, where he goes off the altar. I guess you do it here. Oh, you have Jagannath there here. I don't know what you do here. Jagannath comes from where? Where does he come from?
Birmingham.
Pardon?
Birmingham.
Birmingham. Birmingham. Comes up from Birmingham. He's a Brummy, huh? A Brummy juggy. So Jagannath comes up from Birmingham. They don't even have a temple there. It must be in someone's home. So he comes up, and maybe they have I don't know if they do Snana Yatra. Yesterday was Snana Yatra. I don't know if it was Snana Yatra here, but it was in France. Yesterday. Snana Yatra means in Puri, Jagannath Puri. So that's on our calendar. Yesterday in France. I don't know about here. Sometimes different. Yesterday was officially Snana Yatra day, when the Lord's bathed. And then for 15 days, Anavasara period, he's in seclusion. Seclusion. It's a very intimate time when he's in seclusion with the goddess of fortune. Normally he's like in the public, millions of people or whatever, hundreds of thousands of people every day, Jai Jagannath. They're feeding him like, mountains of prasadam all day long. There's not much time left for intimacy. So, it's like, this is a special period. But it's very difficult for the devotees. When he's off the altar, he's not seen. Not seen. So then he comes back on the festival day. So we thought, well, Sunday, Lord Jagannath's coming out of seclusion. What are we going to do? Hari Bol, Jagannath. Welcome. I hope you're well. What's the doctor's report? Whatever devotees do. So what to do is like a bit of a, strange. He did the whole thing with it. Snana Yatra and, Anavasara, he goes into a separate room and he just gets this special kind of Havisha, what do you call it? Havisha, simple khichdi every day. And, maybe some fruits and maybe some drinks and stuff, but nothing. I don't mean drinks in France. When you say drinks, it doesn't mean what we mean. It means the mildest version is wine, but no, we don't offer him wine. He can have wine if he wants to. It doesn't depend on us. But you offer him simple things during this period. Normally, he's renovated. They use the word renovated during that period. The deity is, if there's any cracks or anything, repaired. painted, like that. After Snani Yatra, depending on the type of paint you use, but oftentimes the paint's run and you have to repaint him anyway, or them. So they get repainted and touched up and what have you during that period. And then they come off the altar. And so we thought, well, this is we're going to have nothing. So we said, no, let's try to, on the same media that we advertise Ratha Yatra, let's advertise a festival at the temple. Paris temple is not very big. The temple room is not even... The temple room is about less than half the size of this temple room. Less than half. Oh yeah. It's the size of an ordinary bedroom.
That's in Paris?
Yes, in Paris, of all places. Can you believe it? And that's the only temple we have there. It's not that we have a manor outside. Very small. I mean, the Soho Street temple is very small too. They need a temple at least 10 times the size of that for London. It's tiny, Soho Street temple. It's bigger than Paris, at least twice, 3 times big or whatever. But it's still very small. This room is small for you. I mean, I'm sure on the Sunday feasts and festivals, this is inadequate, right? Mm-hmm. Not at all adequate. So what to speak of Paris? On Janmashtami last year, we had 3,000 people come on Janmashtami Day. It was, well, what can you call it? I don't know what you can call it. It was what it was. It was chaos. And anyway, so we did that, and you know, you tried to set something up. We can't do it outside in the garden because all the neighbours complain. You can be on the garden, but you can't have the festival in the garden, you know, because of the sound and this and that. So it's another logistic problem, although obviously most of the guests are in the garden. Their darshan is very limited. Very limited, and it's very difficult. You can only get, you know, I mean, anything more than 30 devotees in the temple room, you're already getting, you know, sitting down, you're getting crowded. In the arti time, you might get 80 in there, squeezed in. Now everyone stood up, there's no room to move hardly. So it's pretty intense. So anyway, the invites went out, preparations were made, we decided all the flowers would be used to decorate the temple, to decorate the altar, to decorate the deities. And outside also some arrangements were made with some tents and this and that. So people could, you know, relax, and some things were there. Nothing much. We had no time to get it together hardly. And people started coming in the morning. We had about 200 people came in the morning. We had a fantastic morning program. I just realized this is totally Jagannath's doing. He wants us to really enter into the mood of Ratha Yatra. Not just the activity. We sometimes enter into activity, chanting, activity. Sounds good, but we don't go much below the surface. Ratha Yatra, sometimes we don't even go below the surface at all. We're on the mobile. We're walking along, chatting on the mobile, spaced out, whatever it is on sometimes, or totally mum, not chanting. Sometimes. So, and even still, it's oftentimes, you know, our mind is not really going very deep, or let's say our heart is not very, our consciousness is not very deep in the mood of Ratha Yatra. The real mood, the deep mood. And this was really, for 2 days, I would say, this mood was very prevalent. We all felt it. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days. This mood of something very special, relationship with Lord Jagannath, you know, this anticipant mood of, you know, first of all, you know, his appearance or reappearance, and secondly, the fact that he's not going on the parade. At least we can't see him going on the parade. Just because we can't see it, it doesn't mean he doesn't do it. We can only see a little bit, you know, what's actually happening there. But he wanted this seclusion, not seclusion, but intimacy. Can't say seclusion because he was viewed publicly, but it was a very intimate relationship with Jagannath and Baladev Subhadra. And helped us to appreciate a little bit more. Were they selling something on the street, is it? What are they selling? Dobs? Chai? What's he selling out there? Chai? Chai. What's he selling? Is that someone in the street selling something or what?
No, it's just a guy shouting. We do get that in People shouted.
They shout.
Just shouted, yeah.
They shout.
He's screaming for Jagannath Mati.
He's calling out, Jai Jagannath! Jai Jagannath! He's feeling separation from Lord Jagannath. Jagannath, where are you? Krishna, where are you? Sometimes the feeling of separation from Ratha Yatra increases our spirit for Ratha Yatra. Or our attitude of appreciation for this Ratha Yatra festival is so wonderful. This Sunday, Saturday, Liverpool. Some of you are going? Who's going to Liverpool? Anyone? Nobody? Why not? Only 1, 2, 3 maybe, 4 maybe. Why not go? 5 maybe. You're a bit hesitant to put your hand up there. Yes. Why not go? Why are you not going? Something else going on? Manchester United or at home or something? Why aren't you going?
I think because Sunday is a Birmingham Ratha Yatra, so some people...
Even the more reason to go. Saturday is just an hour away. I don't think it's very far, is it? Liverpool?
Not an hour, yeah.
Not far. It takes any of our congregation at least an hour and a half to reach the temple in Paris each way. So they have to come every time like that. So it's not far. You should come. Ratha Yatra. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it now. Let's see. So we had this magnificent festival, and altogether about 1,200 people came on the day. Prasadam, 3 times, 4 times they had to cook, feast over and over again, never expected. So wonderful to see so many people coming, even though the Ratha Yatra was cancelled. And last minute they came to the festival at the temple in a very sweet mood. You really felt like them. I felt like it was Ratha Yatra practically, although it was, of course, unfortunate the public didn't get the opportunity, the general public didn't get that opportunity. But if you've ever been to Puri, and some of you have been to Puri for the Jagannath Ratha Yatra, I guess, which will be in about 2 weeks' time, who's been to Puri for Ratha Yatra in Puri? For the Ratha Yatra, which normally it takes place at the early part of July, normally. Anyone been? No? Been to Puri, yeah. Even going to Puri is wonderful. You feel Jagannath, huh? And you probably were able to go into the temple, right? They didn't know you were ISKCON member. If they know you're an ISKCON member, even if you're a Hindu, that's enough to stop you. Oh yeah. I think it was Krishnadas Swami got stopped from going in because he was with ISKCON devotees. I think it was him. One of them did. Some of them don't. I mean, some of them are very open, and some of them wish they could let us in, but the main controlling forces are not in that mood. But still, even if you don't go in, you can't go in if you're, white-skinned, unless you put some tan on and either try to make out you're dumb or something, or you have to speak good Hindi or something like that. Put some rags on, put your cigarette out before you go in. If you come up with a cigarette, they will let you in, as long as you put it out before you go in. They know you won't be an ISKCON member if you're smoking a cigarette. It's a fact, I've seen it. But anyway, it increases that. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Intense. And every lover knows that, isn't it? When your beloved is away, your heart, especially amongst the ladies, they really become sometimes they go mad, practically mad. When's he coming? Oh, your child. Huh? When's he coming? When's she coming? When's he coming? Where is he? Where is she? He's like so intense. We may not realize that or feel like that in relationship with Krishna, but that's the mood of the Goswamis, that's the mood of the devotees. This intensity, you're not seeing them in one sense, but you're experiencing their presence so intensely in your heart. is much more intense. This Vipalamba Bhav, this feeling of separation is so intense. So we had a little tiny, I would say, a little glimpse of that. It was, to me anyway, I don't know about everyone else, some said the same thing. Amazing experience. And anyway, you could go on that, but we'll get back to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Krishna sometimes does these things in order to, for whatever reason, maybe we get a little bit carried away thinking I'm doing it, or, you know, we're missing the point of the festival sometimes. And Krishna does things to try to help us to, because ultimately, what does Krishna want? What does Radha? This festival that we all know is Radharani's will to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. Not that he ever leaves, but it appears like he leaves, at least on the manifest platform. But he never really leaves. But it appears the mood, the feeling that he's not there is intensely felt. So this festival is fulfilling Radharani's heart desire that Krishna return to Vrindavan. So Rath Yatra Festival everywhere has the same, ultimately, brutal, internal purpose or internal aspect to it. Externally, it's preaching Krishna consciousness to the max. When you look at Rath Yatra Festival, we can see that practically every element of Krishna consciousness is present there. Practically every element. Even we just mentioned separation, meeting, during the Anavasara ceremony, separation also. Prasad and externally, prasad distribution, huge quantities. I don't know about Manchester, but in most places there'll be thousands and thousands of plates of prasadam. Prasadam from the Rath Yatra cart, so much prasadam everywhere, isn't it? This is Jagannath. There must be prasadam. You cannot have Rath Yatra without prasadam. You can, but it's not the same. It's not really Rath Yatra. Is it? I mean, even in Buri Rath, the prasadam is major part of the parade. Major. They don't have so much, perhaps none at all, book distribution or preaching the message, because they're all devotees there in Puri anyway, practically. But when you're going through the streets of Manchester, probably the majority, well, they are, probably they definitely are, the majority of people who happen to be fortunate enough to see Jagannath passing by on the Rath car have no idea what's going on. Maybe we don't have any idea either, but they certainly don't have any idea what's happening here. And they may never have seen it before. It's a complete, what on earth is this, Some people really don't have, but it's like, if everyone's like dumbstruck, they're kind of fascinated as the Rath car passes by. And the Rath car, even without Lord Jagannath, is it's transcendental. As I mentioned the other day, maybe in Paris, I can't remember, someone the other day, that I can't remember what brought it up, but something brought the subject up, and I mentioned that I was at one Rath Yatra in Holland, Netherlands. And there's a city there, it's a capital city, Den Haag. Have you heard of Den Haag? The Hague. Den Haag, The Hague. It's the capital of Holland. So they have Rath Yatra there every year. In a few weeks also is the Amsterdam Rath Yatra. No, next month, Amsterdam. Next week, I think, they have 5 or 6 Rath Yatras over there. So Den Haag or The Hague is one. It's been going on a long time. So one year, I've been there quite a few times, but one year when I was there, they don't have, like you here, they don't have Jagannath deities. Your Jagannath deities come from Birmingham. Similar, their Jagannath deities are in Radhadesh. Some of you know where Radhadesh is. So they come up from Radhadesh. It's a temple in Belgium. Some of you have been there, maybe for the Kirtan Mela or something. But the Radhadesh deities, Jagannath, they come up. And that year we're waiting, so the chariot was ready, everyone's assembling there in The Hague for the Rath Yatra. The chariots all set there on the street. The deities are not turned up. Time's ticking by. It may have been Subhadra, women are always late. So, but whatever it was, excuse me. But they were late. They weren't coming. And then after 1 hour, the chariot was supposed to start at 1 or something. Already it's 2 o'clock. No sign of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. And obviously the phone calls were going on in the background. There was an accident on the highway and there was a traffic jam like 50 kilometers or something. They couldn't get there. They eventually arrived, but they couldn't reach. They were supposed to be there at 12 or something. They were delayed 3 hours. So what to do? The police said, "Move! Move!" So there we were, pulling the chariot with no deities for the whole parade. Just not being, they couldn't even get anything. There was no picture, nothing. You weren't prepared, Just a chariot. There's a picture of Prabhupada, maybe Jayananda Prabhu. And that was it, really. And the chariot, decorated. But people, I would say, people were just as attracted as they were any other time. It was a great festival. Jagannath arrived just before the end. Common ISKCON, he must be an ISKCON member. They arrived just at the end, just in time for prasadam. Police wouldn't let us, because you couldn't stop, going through the main street. We couldn't stop the chariot because it takes like 15 minutes at least to put the deities on the chariot. We're already running an hour late. The police were pulling, go, come on, faster, like this. Then we reached the square. Just as we came to the little road going into the square, we were able to stop the chariot. And for the last 50 meters or so, Jagannath sat on the chariot and entered the square. But it was an ecstatic festival. And the Rath car itself is not like, just any old cart. It is a divine, the Lord's, chariot, his transport, his vehicle. The Lord travels on that. You'd say it's almost like an Antashesha or something, like Lord Balaram. And it's amazing how it attracts people's attention. And the kirtans, the enthusiasm of the devotees. Well, you can just imagine what it's like in Puri. During Lord Chaitanya's time, this festival is the festival. You could never repeat when you took spontaneously. It's spontaneous. And last night the same thing. You can never kind of replicate a spontaneous presentation. It doesn't happen. Last night we were really in the mood, deeply in the mood of how one can actually get the darshan. The darshan of the Lord. It's very simple. You just go to the temple and there you have it. There he is. I'm having the darshan. But that's nice. But in reality, what darshan are we having? A very good one, very purifying, wonderful. But it's not the same type of darshan. Just hear from Chaitanya Charita the mood of the devotees, their mood. What is the mood of the intimate devotees? Maybe the devotees in general, everyone's on a different level, so their mood will be different. But look at the mood of the intimate devotees, the mood that we're supposed to be developing. We're not there yet. But I tell you, Ratha Yatra Festival, if we enter it in the right mood, is more than anything else that exists in our practical lives, the situation to evolve towards the actual mood of darshan, the actual mood of pure devotional service. Darshan is only available for those whose heart is completely pure. Those whose heart is imbued, Premanjana Chutibulocinena Sampuksadaiva Vidayeshu Vilachidati. That Krishna is only perceivable by those hearts who are imbued with the salve of love of God. Not with knowledge, not with very many different, activities which are all part of coming to that mood. But the mood is one of pure love. And that's what Ratha Yatra is about. It's the love, the intensity of the love. Now, how does that manifest in terms of visibility? We can't rubber stamp this. You see, Ratha Yatra in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many of you know, if not all of you, but many of you know, which mood is Lord Chaitanya in? Which mood is he in?
Separation.
Pardon?
Separation.
He's in a mood of separation, and Ratha Yatra is kind of like meeting and separation, both. But what mood, whose mood, let's say, whose mood is he in them? Radharani, okay. Radharani. He's in the mood of Radharani. And Jagannath is, of course, he's Jagannath. He's the Lord of the universe. Now, that sometimes devotees will look at Lord Jagannath as being, reverential relationship, which is quite expected. We should do. We're not on that level of spontaneous love. So reverence is there. And the Lord, Jagannath, is very special. He reciprocates with the various devotees according to their surrender. Yayatamam prapajyate, and so on. He reciprocates according to one's surrender. So even sometimes it's said even Buddhists think that he's a form of Buddha. The worshippers of Ganesh, the Lord reveals himself as Ganesh. In fact, he does take on that form of Lord Ganesh. After the Snanayatra, sometimes you see, and he actually dresses up, or he looks like Lord Ganesh with a Vesh, Ganesh Vesh. So the devotees see him like Ganesh, form of Ganesh, maybe a form of Lord Shiva. Whatever your heart is, the Lord reciprocates like that, and you'll see like that. At least in the case of Lord Jagannath. Because you can't define him really. It's not like Sita Ram, Lakshmi Nrsimha, Radha Krishna. And nobody knows. I mean, Jagannath's like mysterious, isn't he? Mysterious. Is he a Hindu god? Is this some kind of idol? Is he a voodoo? African voodoo? Africans may think like that. They love Krishna. They love Jagannath in Africa. They love him. We love your God. He is black. And he looks a bit like their voodoos. Lord Jagannath's sense of humor, a way of attracting people. But the mood, Ratha Yatra is definitely this mood. What are we actually supposed to be doing at Ratha Yatra? What are we supposed to be doing? What do you reckon? You probably answer whatever comes to your mind. I mean, they're all probably, hopefully they're all related. Kirtan. You said kirtan? That's for sure. Kirtan. Sang kirtan. That was Lord Chaitanya's basically principle, purpose of his coming into this material world. The Lord has appeared in this world along with his associates to spread the Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord amongst the untouchables. In this way, Lord Chaitanya and his associates have wove a wreath of the holy name around the whole world, a wreath of love of God. He came primarily to taste prema through the congregational chanting of the holy name. Prema, love of God, is experienced, and in this age, this is the only infallible means of reaching that goal, like Siddhanta Maharaj said. If our sadhana, for instance, does not help to evoke an attraction for chanting the holy name, then our sadhana is an impediment on the path of devotion. Chanting the holy name is the emperor of all sadhana, and the only infallible means of success. Lord Chaitanya did not come to teach deity worship. He came to spread the congregational chanting of the holy name. Now, that's not to decry or minimize the importance of deity worship, but that wasn't the mission of Lord Chaitanya. This is to assist us in that sense, to attract people, but they're coming to the temple, they should be attracted not just to come with their conditioned perception of the deity or God or spiritual life, but to change. And the change is evoked, Siddhanta Maharaj further clarifies, by exposing oneself to the pure sound of the holy name. So when we go on Ratha Yatra, this is like the greatest opportunity for that. And every devotee, I'll tell you, the louder you sing, the more enthusiastic you are to sing the holy name on Ratha Yatra, the more Jagannath will smile. Prabhupada said, we'd not try to see Krishna, but work in a way that Krishna will see us. Isn't it? And now if he sees you walking along there, it's the chanting which attracts his attention. and you're just dumb. Or even worse, who won the football match? What's going on in your family these days? Where's old Bert? You know, did you hear about so and so? Oh my God! You think that will attract the heart of Lord Jagannath? Walking along with your mobile and the kirtan's going on, texting away. Lord Jagannath doesn't need a mobile, but he can see what you're doing. Are you helping? I mean, the whole point is, from our point of view, we hear this. We're assisting Radharani in her intention of bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. But I don't know, on the mobile, it depends what you're doing, I suppose. If you're just phoning people, come quickly, Rath Yatra's taking place. Come now. That may be a little different. But that's probably not what's going on. But if he sees enthusiasm, even though it may not be with prema anjana, it may not be a heart full of eye tinged with the salve of love. It may not be that, but at least we're enthusiastic. You may not be able to walk, go in your wheelchair. You have wheelchairs available? I had one of my best ever Rath Yatras, I was in a wheelchair. Incredible. I couldn't not go, it was just impossible. I'd fallen down the stairs and my ligaments in my foot had been ripped to pieces or something like that. Couldn't walk. So I went in a wheelchair. I did more books on that Rath Yatra in a wheelchair than any other Rath Yatra I went to. People were just coming up and then, what happened? I said, nothing. What happened? Here, take this book. If you want to know what happened, you better take the book. I won't tell you otherwise. They were taking books like hotcakes. You're welcome. Come on in. Don't be shy. There's no excuse. If you can't walk, just sit and maybe there's a car or a chariot or something. Palanquin. Get someone to carry you in a palanquin. Probably not the best thing to do. But we want to see how we can assist Radharani in fulfilling her will. This whole mission is based on this. We are followers of Radha. It doesn't mean that we're going to be chanting Radhi, Radhi, Radhi. That's not what it means. Not at all. We chant what Radharani's lovers tell us to do. Maha Mantra chanting. The Maha Mantra, it's not just mantra. We chant Hare Krishna. One or two other appropriate mantras. We're not on that level of maturity or revelation. To come to that level, this is the process, and Rath Yatra contains and not just brief, we went into depth last night. I don't know how much time you've got, but we went into depth last night. Where's that water? You have to go deep into the water, to the ocean. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I mean, just about Kirtan, and when Lord Chaitanya, he's in the mood of Radharani, and Jagannath is Krishna, so is Krishna, Radharani, or Lord Chaitanya, wants to bring Shamsundar back to Vrindavan. That's the whole procession where Sri Kshetra, where the deity normally resides, is considered to be Dwarka or Kurukshetra. And then on the parade, you're gradually approaching Vrindavan. Gundicha Mandir is considered to be Vrindavan. Jagannath Ballabha Gardens, that area. So on the parade, that's the idea, bringing Krishna back, and it's the mood. So there's a whole pastime going on between Lord Chaitanya and Jagannath. We're not going to tell any of those things, even if we could remember a few of them. But more how one can get the darshan of Jagannath, or Krishna, Lord Chaitanya. how to get that darshan. So this festival is no secret, it's not an open secret, how we can come to that mood of, let's say for instance, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Ratha Yatra personally organised the chanting parties before they started. He chose the singers, he chose the mridanga players, he chose the kartal players, he chose the dancers. It wasn't a free-for-all. It wasn't, I want to sing, when's my time? When's my turn? You've gone overtime. You have gone overtime. You offended me. You've gone overtime. It's supposed to be my minute. This is not the mood of Ratha Yatra. Or, any kind of showy thing. That may be our stage of whatever, neophyte devotion, but that's not the mood of Ratha Yatra. There's none of that during Lord Chaitanya's time. In fact, whatever kirtan was going on. Now, can you remember any of the lead kirtan leaders? Lord Chaitanya selected 4. There were 4 main kirtan leaders, singers. Pardon? Who? Swarup Damodar, yes. Swarup Damodar. Who else? They were not ordinary singers. Mukunda, Govinda Ghosh, Srivas Thakur, these were the lead singers. Others were accompanying them, of course. They're not ordinary singers. They hadn't gone to college to, get an operatic voice or something. Practice. Their voice is not because it's a materially speaking, you may choose someone or you may not choose someone who's got a really nice voice. That's okay. But it's not that. That's not the real essence of their kirtan. What's the essence of their kirtan? They're not even playing instruments, by the way. They don't have to have a harmonium to lead the kirtan. Nowadays at the kirtan meadows, if you can't play harmonium, you've got to be a big shot in order to be able to lead kirtan without a harmonium. Pardon? Or on Harinam accordion. But in kirtan melas, it's like that, You either got to be a really big shot, somebody who's like everyone looks up to, or you've got to play the harmonium pretty well, by the way. That's not the mood. What's the mood? What's the essence of these kirtan leaders? Or the dancers. Lord Chaitanya chose the dancers, lead dancers. It's a little different mood, of course, a little different setup than what we have, obviously. But they had it was organized like this. But it wasn't just, mechanical. We have this nice, what do you call it? Choreographed dancing thing. It wasn't choreographed. They hadn't been practicing for weeks, how to do this, None of that. Because it's spontaneous, obviously. Same thing with the mridanga players. Nice, sweet mridangas. In every party, there were 7 parties at Ram Jagannath. 2 mridangas, I think 6 kartal players, 2 mridangas. Now, I was just watching a clip of a Ratha Yatra. There wasn't one mridanga. Not one. A whole bunch of boom, 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 bang, 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 bangs. But no mridangas at all, not one. And even if you bring a mridanga, what's the use? Can't hear it. Even if you had 10 mridangas there, you wouldn't have heard it. The mridanga is the spiritual instrument. Balaram. Come from the spiritual world to accompany Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes. Kartals are said to be the ankle bells of the gopis. They're not just some symbols. These are the primary instruments which should lead the kirtan as far as musical instruments go. Well, they were personally chosen. Now, why are they personally chosen? Because, they got they studied music in Vienna? No. Or, they're from Bengal. They can sing all the alaps.
Alankar.
Alankaras. I don't want to imitate, but especially the one which I just mentioned. Oh, we'll sing one which is very common. On and on sometimes. It's imitate, we imitate. There is a place for that, but it's not just because you're good at it. There is a place for that. They are there. They're traditional. But that doesn't bring us to the real point. What is the mentality of all those devotees?
Devotion.
Pure devotion. Now, what is pure devotion? Is it an activity of execution? Is it a mental focus? Is it a willpower? What is it?
It's the conscious.
It's the consciousness. Well, what is that consciousness?
To know that Lord is great. And
I'm starting to fall off this cushion. I don't know what to do.
You have to sit a bit on it. Yeah.
I'm going to push it forward again or something.
Yeah.
But I can't do that. I can't do that at the
Maybe
same
you have to
time.
bring it before.
Somebody has to come forward, move the cushion. The back is starting to bend wrongly. One moment. Adjustments are required.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh my gosh, what happened to the table? It collapsed. The table collapsed. Let's go. Krishna, oh mind, everything's going to fall off there. Hey, earthquake. We've just had this, I mean, from the material point of view, this terrible earthquake in Venezuela. And people are suffering like anything. Luckily, all our devotees were not, we don't know of anyone who was highly affected by it at all. The temple was okay. It wasn't in the part of the city that got really hit. But still, devotee is supposed to be paradukaduki, to see the sufferings of others, even though they may be material still, because of ignorance, people don't know. And that's all they know, and they suffer like anything. So we all, the devotees, are a well-wisher of everyone. Anyway, back to the mood. So devotion, consciousness, there's not some, at our stage it may be, it's external. Yes, sing, sing, sing. Oh, yeah. At least on the Ratha parade, not now. Or pull the ropes, come on, get into it. Don't just walk along like you're on a Sunday walk in the park or something. Get into it, put your heart and soul into it. Pull in the ropes, work on the decorations, bring us together, cook the prasadam, serve the prasadam, distribute books, talk to people, whatever. But get in the spirit of drawing everyone's attention or towards Krishna. But let's go a little regarding the festival itself. What is that mood? What have they got? I mean, it's correct, but what is that mood of devotion? Why is Lord Chaitanya selected Srup Damodar, Srivas Thakur, and any of the others? Why? Or Haridas? He was about 80 years old. He was a chief dancer. Physically, 80 years old. We can't imitate them. Why? Because they understood the heart of Lord Chaitanya. They were instrumental in fulfilling the will of Lord Chaitanya. The mood which Lord Chaitanya was in may change from one moment to the next, and they would move along with that change. They were like shadows moving along with Lord Chaitanya. The songs they would sing, the rhythm, the raga, the dancing, the musical instruments, everything was according to the will of Lord Chaitanya. His relationship with Shamsundar. That was the mood. And that's the mood of the spiritual realm. It's not about doing what I want or what I have to do. It's the spontaneous also tends to infer something I spontaneously like to do, which of course is there too. But primarily it's because of the intensity of just purely wanting to serve. Whatever Krishna wants, that's all I want. Nothing else. Whether I go to hell or heaven, it doesn't make any difference. Somehow or another, what does Krishna want? We, obviously, most of you will know this, that this mentality, or this attitude, ultimately, this attitude can be developed or awoken because it's constitutional. It's not something which is foreign entirely to the soul, by any means. But it can be evoked by following and associating with one who has it. That's the purpose of the parampara, the disciplic succession of spiritual masters. To guide us in such a way that we can change this idea of seeing ourselves as the drishya, or the center, the seer. We're drishta, we're the seen. We are the seen. Krishna is the drishya, he's the seer. Pure devotees are also seer. They can see what's going on. That's how they're able to. They don't think, I can see what's going on. They automatically act like that. That's their, a bird flies. It doesn't have to think, what should I do now? How do I fly? It flies. It's part and parcel of their nature. We don't have that nature. We can't fly. We have to work hard for it. It's not like that. It's natural. It's completely natural for the pure soul. So the devotees they weren't even thinking like that, but they were automatically acting according to their constitutional part. So we're practicing, you could say, to develop that Krishnendriya, that's seeing Krishna in the center and not ourselves all the time. What I like, what I want. Of course, if what we want is what the spiritual master wants, that's perfect at this stage. Perfect. But ultimately, it's what Krishna wants. And pure, and that's what the spiritual is all about. There's no question that we're sitting down, well, I don't think Krishna's quite got it right, I think it should be done like this. There's no question of that. Everything is just pure love of Krishna. Radharani is the emblem of that love for Krishna. Her compassion is overflowing in Ratha Yatra. She wants to bring everything and everybody back to bring pleasure to Krishna. This is the preaching mission of Lord Chaitanya. That's why Prabhupada was so determined to spread Krishna consciousness, to bring everyone back to where we should be for the pleasure of Krishna, to fulfill Radharani's desire. And of course, you could say, Prabhupada received that order from his spiritual master, but representing Radharani. But this festival is like that. We're not going there. We may enjoy, you could say, a fantastic festival. Great, the weather was great. Oh, we were really lucky. We had really good weather today. And so many people came. And Prasadam was fantastic. It was a really good festival, Whoa, you should see in the chariot. Oh, they decorate so nice. All good, but that's not the inner essence, the esoteric aspect. The exoteric side is one thing, but if that attracts us to the esoteric, that's fine. But if we're just attracted to the externals, we're a little way to go yet. So that inner heart of Ratha Yatra. And I'll just mention, as I said it would earlier on, that this mood is personified or exonerated, maybe I don't know the word, but showed clearly in the mood of one great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. One great devotee. This great devotee was a very important person in Orissa and much of Eastern India, in fact. None other than the king of Orissa, King Prataparaja. And to a certain degree, we could say, at least in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that particular year, the first year after Lord Chaitanya returned from his travels in South India, as you may know, the king of Puri, he was a devotee of Krishna. And still to this day, I suppose, more or less, you could say it's the same. Not on the same level of attitude or consciousness, no doubt, but still something there. They are very much involved in the overseeing of the Jagannath temple and the worship that goes on therein. So this King Pratapruti, he was a great devotee, and his spiritual master, or spiritual Siksha, not Diksha, but Siksha guide, was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was the chief priest in terms of puja, but in terms of seniority, in terms of being accepted as the leader amongst the Brahmins in Puri. There was also Kashi Mishra, another very elevated sadhu, who was also a spiritual guide to King Prataparudra. So when Lord Chaitanya went traveling in south, when he first came rather to Puri, the king heard about this great personality. He didn't know who he was. He just heard that there was a great personality that arrived in Puri. The king wanted to see him. He appealed to Sarvabhauma. I've heard, Sarvabhauma, dear Guruji, I've heard that there's a great personality has arrived in Puri. Is there any way I can get his darshan? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, well, he's a sannyasi. And generally sannyasis do not see kings. But I will try. But unfortunately, I can't try either, because he's already left. Oh no. Left? Left? The king was like, no. He's already left. How? And Sarvabhauma said, what can I do? I am convinced that he is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, completely independent. Why did you let him go? Why did you not keep him? What can I do? He's completely independent. I tried everything I could, but he left. He went traveling. Oh, the king was so devastated that he'd missed his chance. He wanted to get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya. But then Sarvabhauma said, but he did promise one thing. He said he would come back in the near future. Some hope was there for the king. Days went by, weeks went by, months went by, years went by. No sign of Lord Chaitanya. Day after day, the king was becoming more and more and more, you could say, internally devastated. Will he never come? Will he never come? Then, eventually, of course, Lord Chaitanya did return to Jagannath Puri. He did return. And the news came to the king that Lord Chaitanya had returned to Puri. Immediately the king asked Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, please, my dear Guruji, please do everything you can. I want to have darshan of this great personality, Sri Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Please arrange. Sarvabhauma approached Lord Chaitanya and said, the king of Orissa is begging, my lord, if you could please give him your darshan. Darshan? Darshan? The king? How can I give darshan to a king? I'm a sannyasi. Lord Chaitanya was just showing us an increase in the intensity of the king. It wasn't like he was rejecting him in reality. He was actually accepting him. But it appeared like he was rejecting him. Sometimes rejection is a form of acceptance. And that's another topic. But the king, when he heard this, Sarvabhauma said, I tried to. I presented your request to the Lord, but he can't see a king. He's a sannyasi. He said he would be a laughingstock in society if you were to give darshan to a king. It was a strict sannyas principle. When it comes to preaching, of course, these things are not necessarily applicable. But in general, this is the principle. What am I to do? What am I to do? You know what to do. Sarabhoma could see that the king was, he could have even given up his life. He was ready to give up his kingdom and just go away as a mendicant somewhere. What's the use of this life? I can't get the darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why should I live? So Sarabhoma, what to do? What to do? He talked to the devotees. While Lord Chaitanya was traveling in South India, when he came to Kovur on the river Godavari, he had met with none other than Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy was another eternal associate of the Lord, Vishaka Devi, in the form of Ramananda Roy. They spent days conversing, transcendental ecstasy, on the banks of the Godavari. Lord Chaitanya there and then asked him to join him in Puri. This personality, Ramananda Roy, was employed by King Prataparudra as a governor to the southern provinces, all the way down to Madras. He was practically his right-hand man. Lord Chaitanya asked him, please give up this post. I want you to come and join me in Puri. So Ramananda Roy did that. He'd already arrived in Puri. He approached the king, requesting his permission to give up his position as governor. When the king, Prataparudra, heard that Ramananda Roy wanted to give up his position as the governor of the southern provinces in order to serve Lord Chaitanya, the king went into ecstasy. Oh, what wonderful news! What wonderful news! Can you imagine? You're the king and you're a chief man, practically speaking, comes and tells you he's giving up his position, just like that. The king responded in ecstasy, serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How fortunate you are, immediately take it up, and I will double your income. Pretty good. Pretty good offer. Imagine if you may be working in IT, I don't know what you guys are working in, or your ladies are working in engineering or something. I say, I want to give up my job, I want to join full-time the Hare Krishna movement. And your boss said, fabulous, fantastic, I've never heard such good news as this, I'll double your income if you join the Hare Krishna movement full-time. What do you think? Good idea? What do you think, Deva Rishi? Sounds good?
I'd only do it if they put Jagannath in there.
Yeah, well, you don't need anything. I don't think you ever worked anyway, did you? Nothing to give up. It's easy for you to say that. Some of these guys have got big jobs, They work, you don't know what work is. They got something to give up, You're wasting your life. You don't know what you're going to be like when you're 40 years old. Why did I do that? I've got no money. I've got no house. I've got nothing. No, nothing. No security. What am I going to do? Sometimes those thoughts, sometimes people say that. Anyway, Ramananda Roy joined Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sarabhoma appealed to Ramananda Roy, can you do something? You're the most intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya. The king is a great devotee. He's not just a king. He's a pure devotee. He's even much more pure than me. Sarabhoma said. Ramananda Roy knew quite well he was a pure devotee. He'd spent most of his life working for him. And he knew what a great devotee was in his response when he gave up his job. So he also approached Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya recognized the fact that the king was, but still he goes by the name King. I cannot see him. I will be a laughingstock. I know what to do. What to do? Govinda, Lord Chaitanya's personal servant, arranged that a piece of Lord Chaitanya's cloth could be taken to the king. He lived a long way in Cuttack, it's quite a distance, the capital of the kingdom. He took that cloth there. Of course, the king was very blissed out by receiving a piece of the Lord's prasadam, but still it wasn't quite enough. Still he was feeling completely distraught and totally condemning himself. I'm the lowest of the low, the most wicked of all people. The Lord is giving his association to everyone except for a wicked king person like me. I alone am the most unqualified person in the universe. How will I ever get this mercy? So then, they also arranged. Nityananda came. Nityananda was there. He also appealed. Still nothing could be done. In fact, Lord Chaitanya said, if anyone else brings this up, that I should give darshan to this king, I will leave Puri and never come back. That was like almost a death blow. Almost. The king, he said, all right, I will see the king's son, the prince. That's it. The prince came. The prince was a very handsome young man, darkish complexion, and he looked pretty much like Krishna. And when he came in, or when he came to see Lord Chaitanya, the Lord embraced him. And he actually felt like he was embracing the Lord. He was in ecstasy seeing this boy. But still, it wasn't quite the same. King Prataparudra's still absolute hankering, desire to get the Lord's darshan, the real darshan, not just this covered darshan, but the heart's darshan, which he's actually getting, but it's a separate mood of separation. This mood of separation helps to develop the actual mood of eligibility, or the actual mood of pure premanjana, chitta bhakti vilochana, pure love. So he was really still threatening to give up his life. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you could say, inspired within by the Lord, then spoke to the king. Said, my king, my dear, no, he said my king, my dear, but whatever you address him as, Lord, whatever. Do not give up hope. I know that you will get the Lord's mercy very soon. How is that? Why you say like this? What is the reason? How can you say like this? He said, because very soon, because this is, don't forget, Lord Chaitanya had been back. He was not there, had not been in Puri for Ratha Yatra at all. This is the first time. He'd been away 2.5 years. He came back a few months before Ratha Yatra. And then Sarvabhauma said, very soon, my Lord, a Ratha Yatra festival will be taking place. At that time, you will get his darshan. The king became a little bit, hopeful. How will I get his darshan? I will tell you. And he said, well, he didn't say at that moment, but he did say, I'll reveal that to you. So then, gradually, time came close, and it was Snana Yatra. Now, what happens on Snana Yatra, we've already mentioned. The Lord subtly goes out of view of the general devotees. And he goes into seclusion for 15 days normally. Into seclusion. Maybe here you put a picture of him on the altar or something, I don't know. They don't do that. But whatever it is, there's no darshan like that. It's devastating. When Lord Chaitanya, he personally took darshan, took pleasure in the performance of the Snana Yatra. But then when the Lord disappeared from the altar, he was devastated also. He immediately left Jagannath Puri and went to Alalanath, some distance away, and he wouldn't go back. You couldn't get him to come back. He was devastated. He couldn't handle it. The Lord has left. He left. I can't. Where is he? He's gone. And this news came to the king. Oh no! The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has gone again. Oh no! It's all over. I thought I was getting. You gave me hope. You gave me hope, and now it's finished. No. Don't worry. Don't worry. Sarvabhauma said, he will come back. What, why? How? When? Said, very soon, the devotees in Bengal, they have heard that Lord Chaitanya has returned. They're on their way here now. They will arrive any day. When Lord Chaitanya hears that his devotees from Bengal have arrived, he will immediately return to Puri to greet them. The king became again a little hopeful. See this? Back and forth. So sure enough, when news came that the devotees were approaching, news came to Lord Chaitanya, he immediately returned to Puri. And this gave King hope The king then went to Puri along with his associates. Sarvabhauma was there, Gopinathacharya was there. They were positioned on a very high building to see what was going on the road approaching